Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everybody. I'm Preacher Moss, host of the S.O.S, the Shout Out Show, coming to you live from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, courtesy of the Fairfield Inn and Suites on College Avenue. That's right beside General Mitchell Field, Milwaukee Airport. Listen, brothers and sisters, I hope you're having a great day. Man, we made it all the way to another Thursday. You don't know how much that means to just get to another Thursday as we begin that quiet, slow slide into Christmas. You know, that time between Thanksgiving and Christmas is so small and compact. If you're not paying attention, you'll miss both of those holidays. But, brothers and sisters, I am happy to say that we are here on a Thursday. Blessed to be here. And I hope this show will resonate with a few. You know, I have to be honest with myself. And we cover a lot of topics. When we first started doing the shout out show, I thought it was going to be a whole lot of jokes and we're going to joke. Then life catches up. When I say life catches up, what I'm saying is like, you know what, we do have things, but there's a time and a place to laugh and learn. And so we laugh and then we also learn. But I also felt, my brothers and sisters, that, you know, we were talking about a lot of things and they were pertinent issues. Make no mistake, they were pertinent issues. They were relevant to how we're living, how we feed ourselves, how we take care of ourselves, how we protect our families, and all of that. Truth be told, I ran up on a jazz, not a jazz record, but it was a blues record that my father used to play. And it came into my mind, and I went on Apple Music. It was Bobby Blue Bland. And Bobby Blue Bland played a song. He had a song. It was, I don't know if it was a hit or not. I loved it. It was called Members Only. It was a blues song. It was sad and things like that. But you know what, though? It levitated me for what I was going through. I wasn't going through the blues, but I appreciated that sometimes we do have the blues. And that was my father's music. And, you know, this is nothing new, you know, brothers and sisters. And I'm going to offer an apology. So pay close attention. I don't apologize often. Actually, I do. I've spent so much time, brothers and sisters. We've been talking about COVID. We've been talking about the economy. We've been talking about so many issues that are really, really heavy topics. And there's a danger to doing that. And the danger is sometimes you don't listen to not the youth around you. You don't listen to your own youth. You don't get a chance to appreciate your own youth. Some of those songs that made you smile, some of the songs that made you think a certain way, some of the songs that put a pep in your step, some of the songs when you saw that woman across the way, you said, that's going to be my wife. And she said, that's going to be my husband. Some of the songs you used to hear that made you feel good about your family. You had songs about grandmothers, aunts, dogs. We had all of these songs, brothers and sisters. And somehow, here we are in 2021 arguing about some of the most asinine things while those gems, those classics fall by the wayside. Now, let me tell you something a little bit about myself. I'm a DC guy through and through. I was born at Columbia Hospital for Women. I ain't going to tell you how old I am, but yes, my birth certificate does not say I was born black. It said I was born colored. We talk about that later. What I'm going to say, brothers and sisters, is in Washington, D.C., I grew up in a very, very special culture in terms of music. Yes, I am an avowed go-go head, but I love my hip-hop music. Let me say it again. I'm an avowed go-go head, but I love my hip-hop music. And let me tell you what go-go meant for me. Go-go music was Chuck Brown and the Soul Searchers. Put a point in that. But it was more than Chuck Brown and the Soul Searchers. It was a culture of young black men who played live instruments. And Chuck Brown, he was, of course, the inspiration for go-go music and a lot of stuff you heard. And his stuff has been sampled all over the world, along with Trouble Funk and Rare Essence and EU that came after him. But we all recognize Chuck Brown. But Chuck Brown, brothers and sisters, was a gateway to why I learned to appreciate and love hip-hop music. Now, throw it out there, brothers and sisters. The thing that made go-go music special and special today is that you have people who learn musicianship. Not just musicianship, we're talking about choreography, things like that. All that stuff has gone to the past. You know, you don't see that type of finesse anymore. On stage, it happens. We move from style to style. And of course, you know, corporations get into it. And all of a sudden the dancers cost too much, the choreographers cost too much. We don't need a drummer. We got a drum machine. And it ferrets out itself. But what I'm going to say today is I want to apologize to some of the guys out there in hip hop today because honestly, I don't listen to you. I don't have a Drake album. I ain't got a Kanye West album after Late Registration. I don't have a Jay-Z album past the Blueprint. I don't have it because honestly, I stopped listening. I stopped listening. Now, here's the thing, brothers and sisters. I stopped listening, but it didn't mean that music wasn't good. That music didn't mean things to other people. This is me, my own selfish self-interest. You hear what I'm saying? But I want to take the day out to enjoy the music. And I'm going to enjoy and talk about some of the music that I heard. And we only have 30 minutes. I understand that. And I want you to feel free to talk about the music that you heard. So don't just sit in the comment section thinking, I'm going to listen to preach. You ain't going to listen to me. Listen to yourselves. Go in your own playbook in your mind or your playlist in your mind and pull out some of the music that you enjoy. Today, brothers and sisters, we're going to be talking about hip hop. When it was meaningful. You know when it was meaningful? Because it was meaningful to me. That's the theme today. Preacher Moss talking about hip hop on the Shout Out Show. Let's get it started. Hi. All right, and we're back, brothers and sisters. I hope you weren't gone too long. Listen, we're going to jump into this thing. But first of all, we got to give a shout out to that Shout Out Show family that's in the building today. So I don't want to wait. You know, we have our people. We got Sister Ree. You know, in the go-go thing, we wouldn't say we got Sister Ree. We'd be like, we got Sister Ree in the house. We got Sister Satana in the house. We got JT in the house. That's the way it used to work, brothers and sisters, of course. And don't even look at me crazy, because I know a bunch of you Negroes out there at lunchtime used to beat on the lunch table. I know I'm not alone. I did it in private school, so I know you did it in public school. All right, so let me just throw that out there. All right, what's going on, Sister Ree? Thank you so much for coming on. So it was a hit. Members only. I knew I wasn't alone. It was a hit. Sister Ree is telling you Bobby Blue Bland had a hit with members only. That's my daddy's record. I'm gonna give him a shout out. Pops, I still got that album. You ain't getting it back. Okay, next up, we got Brother Altaf Rashid. Altaf in Toronto. What was the hip hop music that you like, sir? I mean, I want you to put it in the comment section. First of all, let me return a greeting. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. All right, that's right. You say, okay, we got some people in here today. This is gonna be fun. Altaf, we appreciate you coming, man. He's our Canadian ambassador from Toronto, Mr. Straight Up, Straight Down, Mr. 6 o'clock, making sure that the quality of the show is good on this side of the border and that side of the border. Thanks so much. Next up, we got Sister. Where's your husband at? No, I'm just kidding. How you doing, Sister Sonia? We appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. He says salams. Wa alaikum assalam to a barakat. I'm a house head. I want to talk about house, but I think we need a whole show to talk about house because Satana is smiling. I'm gonna tell you about house. When I came from DC to Milwaukee and house music was playing, this is like 84. I was confused. This is why I was confused. It wasn't a repetition of music. It's like, where's the band? Why don't they have a band? Because we came out of that space, had to have a band. Okay, you from Chicago? I respected Frankie Knuckles and all that stuff. Frankie Knuckles had some good stuff. Tent City, you know, I know a little something. Sister Sonia. I'm not up here talking out of the side of my neck. I know about that house music. House music all night long. House music all night long. Yeah. I am a lover of old school jazz. Yes, Sister Sonia, you have a permanent spot on a shout out show because you are a lover of old school jazz, not smooth jazz, old school jazz. Thank you so much, Sister Sonia. Next up, what we got? Eric. In DC, we don't say the word Eric. In DC, we say Irk. So probably for the rest of your life, when you come on the shout out show, I'm gonna be like, "What's up, Irk?" Everybody, Eric Carter on the show. Walaikum assalam to Barakatu, brother. Hope you're having a great day. Thank you for tuning in. What we got, Sister Tana? What we got here? We got Adam Khan. Adam, what's going on, baby? Where you been, man? Did you just get out? No, I'm just kidding, man. We appreciate you on the show, coming all the way from Toronto. Not Toronto, but outside of Toronto. Brother, good to see you, man. Give my salams to your family. Walaikum assalam rahmatullahi barakatuh. Miss you on the spot. Thank you so much. Next up, we got Sister Ika. She's throwing out there the early Juma Mubarak. That's right, they're 12 hours ahead of us. What's going on, Sister Ika? Walaikum assalam rahmatullahi barakatuh. Welcome to the platform. We appreciate you. Shout out to you and your family. Next up, Samir, where you been, man? Samir, all the way from Kansas City, my main man. I hope you've been working on that script. Brothers and sisters, Samir is working on a script on the theme of Tupac Shakur. Mike, I mean, it's gonna be good, man. I hope you get it out there, brother. I'm looking forward to reading your work and your art. Brother Samir, thank you so much for coming. Next up, what's the world without brother Bilal Salahuddin? What's going on, beloved? Thank you so much for making it on the show. Walaikum assalam rahmatullahi barakatuh. Appreciate you, man. Jump into this conversation about hip hop. I'm gonna kick it off in a minute. Next up, all right. Now my mother's on the show, so my hip hop had passed you by a long time ago. Outside of call Tyrone. Okay. My mom said we had the blue light in the basement. You had brought the show to a screeching halt because people do not know what the blue light in the basement was. That's when they call slow dancing, brothers and sisters, that belly rubbing music. All right. At the blue light. My mom was like one of the best dancers. Her and her friend D, they were like the top dancers at Howard and all that type of stuff. So, Mom, we appreciate you coming. I'm gonna talk about you in a minute, and I'm gonna give a little preference about this hip hop thing. Okay, next up, the Blueprint was hot. The Blueprint album was hot. Yeah, I like Hard Knock Life. It's a Hard Knock Life. Yeah, I love that song. Just I did that, mix it with Annie. I'm not gonna lie, I liked it. That's the way it goes. All right. Next up, and we got Samir. She said, a lot of old school hardcore gangster rappers had at least one or two conscious songs. You know what? There's a thing to it. There's a theme to hardcore rappers, gangster rap, and I've been hard on it. I was particularly hard on it when I was in the mix of it. I was hearing it for the first time. So we're gonna get to this, and we can't forget, of course, this is Satana, who is working the 1 and 2s on the production. Thanks so much, Sister Tana. We appreciate you. Jersey house music. Now, I ain't never heard no Jersey house music. I guess I need to listen to some. Sister Tana, I know you have some, and all of us Muslims got some haram house music someplace. That's all I'm saying. We all got some haram house music. All right, so let me get into this. Here's where it starts for me. I was a big guy about, of course, live music. Now, through the miracle of iPhone, I'm going to play for you the thing that made me love live music a lot. I mean, outside of jazz. It was 2 words, Chuck Brown and the band, the Soul Searchers. So in 1979, while going to school, my mother was taking me to school, and I would every once in a while I get to operate the radio. My mother used to listen to WTOP news in the morning, so you never even got to go anywhere, right? So here's the song, brothers and sisters, that had me ready to go. You ready? Now, it wasn't just a driving groove. This is what you're hearing when you're in the lunch line. And then Chuck Brown came in and he said this. me tell y'all something. I don't mind. I don't care how old you are. But when you hear busting loose, you're going to get up out of that. Now, that was 1979. In 1982, I was riding with my mom. We had a red Volkswagen, brothers and sisters. And again, I'm listening to the radio. Now, this is how old I am. This is when you basically only had AM radio. Well, no, FM. AM radio. Now, we had some light stuff. You know, you had Sugar Hill Gang and things like that. But this is a song that said, wait a minute. Somebody's talking to me. And the song was The Message in 1982. Now, I had the pleasure, brothers and sisters, of hanging out with and becoming friends with Melly Mel. And he told me the story of course, The Message. The fact that the band wasn't really together at the time, the fact that that it was him and another rapper who actually put the song together, a guy named Duke Booty. That's his name. His name is Duke Booty. So if you hear two voices, the first guy is Duke Booty, and the other part, of course, is Melly Mel. The point of The Message, brothers and sisters, it was that line. You know, somebody always calls me when I can't talk to them. Okay. I've called this guy like 3 times, then he calls back during the show. You see how it is, Satana? I can't work for these people. But it was the idea of the message. I don't know how many people heard the message when it first came out. Satana, what were you? 1 month old? When the Satana was 15 minutes old when she heard the message. But I heard the message when of course I was in middle school, headed to high school. And the beautiful thing about the message was it began to be a precursor of the time. I have to say this. My mom did not like the message. That it's like a jungle time. It's making me wonder why I keep from going under. She hated that. And because she hated it, I loved it. I said, this is the right music for me. My mama can't stand it. It's no curse words. It's no profanity. It's like, But it spoke to me. And I have to say this, brothers and sisters. And all the things that are going on around right now, I'd say you had to celebrate. I would ask everybody, what was the music that you listened to that you really, really liked? You know, the message cued me for what essentially was the Reagan years. We were living the Reagan years. So anybody that does any kind of music knows that when the Reagan years came out, there's a period from, of course, the message, and it did move into gangster rap. Because if you did 8 years of Ronald Reagan politics, voodoo economics, and all those type of things, and watching your community change, hear me though, watching your community change, it was like, this was it. And then you had the love of music. Here's the thing sometimes that bothers me about hip hop now. It's so hard. It's so this. It's like, do you have fun? do you have fun? What's wrong with another DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince Summertime? Remember that? Summertime. I don't know what the other song. You had Summertime. Of course, you had, you had so many people you had. Remember, you had guys, brothers and sisters, you would argue about their rap style and their rap flows. Who was better, Big Daddy Kane or Kool Moe Dee? Look at the people I'm bringing up. Big Daddy Kane, Kool Moe Dee. We got something here from Adam. Let's go ahead and post some of this stuff. My mama says, don't cut me short. I like it's getting hot in here. And I'm hip to DMX. No. Satana, why you put this up here? My mom was joking. She said she thought I was getting inappropriate. She said, boy, you getting X-ray. Not X-rated, X-ray. DMX to my mom is a prescription. Did you take your DMX today? All right. Love you, mom. Gotta mess with you. What is this? What Colleen Webster says, Vortec. Boy, we get him on here all the time. I just threw it up there, Satana, because it's just there and I can see it today. But let me say, Satana, what is yours? You said sounds like Curtis Blow. Me, I sound like Curtis Blow? Curtis Blow was the Breaks. Clap your hands, everybody. Remember that song? You got what it takes. I'm Curtis Blow, and I want you to know that these are the Breaks. They had one of the best guitar licks. And now let me tell you something about early hip hop. Satana, you can jump in whenever you want to. One of the things about early hip hop is the fact that they did use some studio instruments. This is one thing I don't know if people realize. Houdini, one of the best groups ever. A lot of Houdini's music was made where? Overseas in the UK. They were huge over in the UK, but they made a lot of the hits that you like. Funky Beat. Funky Beat. You got, oh my gosh, Friends, 5 Minutes of Funk. You got the Big Mouth. They're made overseas, so it was already international. What you got for us, Sister Tana?
Hey there, assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone, and welcome. So yeah, this is a great topic. We need to put Adam's comment up here. He said his favorite lyrics of all time is Hotel, Motel, Holiday Inn. Okay, yes.
You didn't do the rest of it, though.
No,
if your girl stop acting up, then you take out like marriage counseling. They doing. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate it.
I was saying that when I said Curtis Blow, I meant the song that you played.
Mm-hmm.
Who was that again? What was the artist
that I just played?
Yeah.
No, that was Chuck Brown.
I was saying that song sounded like a Curtis Blow song. So maybe Curtis Blow got his.
Now, let me throw this out here. A lot of groups, particularly groups like Kid and Play, producer Herbie Lovebug, he really liked go-go music. So if you go back and listen to Ain't Gonna Hurt Nobody, things like that, it has go-go riffs.
Okay.
If you listen to Salt and Pepper, Shake Your Thing, it has go-go music. Great show. So I just want you to know that it was a big hope. It was a big dream, really, for DC artists to connect with New York rappers back then. I have an old tape of when Ice Cube came to town, and on this tape, well, it's a go-go band playing. I think it's Rare Essence was playing, and they were playing his hit in go-go form. Like they were playing his hit in go-go form, right? And what happened was he actually he started rapping over go-go. In fact, Dougie Fresh just put out an album recently that's sort of like a salute to Chuck Brown.
Oh wow, okay.
I mean, I haven't got to listen to it, but I'm intrigued.
Yeah,
I'm 100% intrigued,
Yeah, but when I heard that, I was like, okay, that sounds like that sounds like a Curtis Blow. Well, Curtis Blow sample would have had to sample him, but maybe that's where he got his roots from.
Everybody mentions Curtis Blow. What was the most famous Christmas song?
Right. Still up there too. Yeah.
Every Christmas you're gonna listen to it. For DMC rap head, that's like our Nat King Cole. Merry Christmas. Down. So I mean, I loved it, and then and then we got into consciousness.
Run DMC had a one. Let's see. So I'll talk. Anything the Roots put out, it was what he was listening to, and Roots is like that Philly crew.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we like the Roots because Roots had live instruments.
Yeah,
I don't know why I keep going to live instruments. It's just that we always felt that if you're writing music, you're gonna always produce different sounds. Like we can guarantee. Like when you watch the Jimmy Fallon, and you see the Roots as a band.
Yeah.
That's a great gig. But it's like, yo, I remember those guys. Everybody remember those guys seeing like my big brother Reggie. We had a lot of be pleased with him. I remember I was playing Frankie Beverly. He was like, I remember I used to see Frankie Beverly pay for 50 cent down there someplace in Philly. I'm like 50 cents. He was like, yeah,
Frankie Beverly paid for. Wow. Okay.
50 cents because they were doing shows. They wanted to come up.
Yeah, I guess so.
So you were really doing, and that was the thing. It was, before we got into the corporatocracy, the corporatization of hip hop music and things like that. It was it's still a lovely form. It's just not as frequent in terms of turnout. There's very few like Stevie Wonders in the rap game. There's a few Stevie Wonders in the rap game. And when we do get them, we do celebrate them. But when I say Stevie Wonder, I don't mean like, just a song. It's like rap music for a long time didn't really produce the Living for the City. Even before Chuck Brown talking about busting loose, I was exposed to Marvin Gaye, what's going on, so it was interesting how we were getting our information. And rap music did get better. It did get better. Hip hop got better because I love the fact that they were really, really framed on having this community. This community of musicians, and it's a very protective community. When you start looking back on.
But what years are you talking?
For me, I think I'm all the way in with both feet in terms of hip hop by 1983.
Mm-hmm.
By 1983, and by 84. No, I would say by 88. I'm like a hip hop head. But my allegiances, my allegiances aren't torn. My allegiances emerge now because now I had this capability to look and enjoy rap music, and every once in a while you would get the live version of something.
Yeah, yeah.
Chuck Brown, one of his last performances on CD was called "We Got This." They did a remix of a Beyonce song called "Ego."
Mm-hmm.
And it was a live version of the song called Ego. Sister Cherie sang it. Let me tell you something. No knock to Beyonce, but that live version of it was much better than hers.
Okay.
It was much better than hers. I'm like, wow. Like it was quality, it was this, and I'm like, I kind of wanted Beyonce to go back and do her own, redo it with a go-go band. That's what I wanted to do. But
okay.
It didn't happen. She's phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. She's phenomenal. But I'm a go head. So I'm going to say things like this. It's okay. I'm going to say things like this.
Yeah. I think some of the earlier, rap or hip hop, they took what they had to go on was like the 70s disco scene. Right. So a lot of it came out of that, trying to, trying to mimic that, or trying to embrace that, or trying to incorporate that into, because a lot of the records that they use were from the disco scene, right?
Well, I mean, it was also a thing that the
90s.
music that they were exposed to, those were their parents' records.
Yeah.
Great beats with parents' records. And we have a comment from Sister Stoney said 90s hip hop rap was good too. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I would say the 80s and 90s, probably.
I mean, I'll be honest.
Trying to figure out where somewhere in the 90s it went awry.
The Cold Chilling Crew, Cool G Rap,
right.
Buddy Kane, Master Ace, Craig G. Come on, Roxanne Shante. You can have bangers across the board. Yeah,
right.
Board.
Let's go back to way back to DJ Cool Work.
Yeah, the KRS One to bounce it like, yo, we're gonna take it from you. And it wasn't like violence. It's like, we're gonna take it from you.
Yeah, let's give props to DJ
out here. The baddest
Cool
one,
Herc.
the baddest one out of Cold Chilling, the baddest one was Roxanne Shante. I'm listening to her out there. I would not want to mess with her. She was one of the best ones out there. Oh, Sister Sonya said Slum Village.
Slum Village, yeah.
Yep. Big shout out to, and we didn't even get to the producers. Like
Well,
I'm
before we get to that, let's give it to the one who the father of it all, DJ Cool Herc. Let's just put
DJ
that
Cool here.
let's put that on the table, before we go into this. But
Well,
yeah.
I was gonna do that, and
Mhm.
I'm glad you brought it up. Like we talked yesterday briefly. We have a shout out, get some love to our dearly departed brother, Gregory Tate. He was
Mhm.
that music critic that saw it beginning. He was that music guy that saw it begin and chronology. He made a chronology of it that we can all access.
Sure. Mhm.
And I'm gonna throw this out here too. Hip hop. Um, Hip hop also gave some space to live. It began to reintroduce live music because they started working with rock bands. Hearing Public Enemy work with Anthrax.
Yeah,
What is
DMC
this
did.
all about? And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
Mhm.
Metallica. I'm like, wait a minute. Then you
Yeah.
realize how big rap music is because they're playing their songs and they're rapping over their songs. I'm like,
Yeah, Walk This Way is like one of the top
yeah,
amazing, right?
and itself,
Mhm.
on its own merits, Walk This Way is a killer song.
Sure,
Like
absolutely.
I like Aerosmith.
Aerosmith is great. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
But it
But
was
that
always
merging was just it brought a whole different crowd, an
it brought
audience to
it
yeah.
brought people close to the rap
Hmm.
music, and you know what it did? It removed the stigma that rap music was this huge. It was this hood music.
It's huge.
It
Yeah.
was localized music, or it was
Hmm.
like the old folks say, old white folks say that's race music. That's what these black people. It was race music. Um,
Okay.
it was the new race music, except that everybody loved it.
Sure. Sure.
I had a
Yeah.
great time watching um, Jay Z and particularly LL Cool J get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Mm.
Particularly because I think LL had been overlooked a couple times. He got his stuff at the Kennedy Center that he'd been overlooked. But
Yeah.
what I really really enjoyed was this dude stuck in him like he's that hip hop guy. Like he's that hip hop guy, and I'm like you. I was like, you start thinking about, man, they did I Can't Live Without My Radio. Now I'm dating myself.
That's a
Everybody,
classic.
I'm giving you a heads up. I am dating myself.
That's a classic, though. That's a classic.
But when his album came out, he came to the city of Milwaukee, where I am right now at the Riverside Theater. The name of the program was called Cosmic Groovetron. And I was working, and he had a hit called I Can't Live Without My Radio. He bought Earl to the thing. So you're talking about this is like 1986. This was when they first started touring. Like this is when they first hip hop first started touring. They came to Milwaukee. They tore the place up. Okay, they tore the place up. But it's two things I remember: him and Earl with that big huge radio. Earl just have his foot on it like this. He did nothing else except this. He got paid for it. On his W-2, they said, "What did you work?" This is it right here. Okay.
Yeah.
But then I saw Dougie Fresh live, and I said, "Wow, wow!" And he did the mouth thing, and it sounded like 15 drums and horns, and he stole the show. He
Mm.
stole the show, and I think right then at that point in time, even while the Riverside Theater had been overrun, bum rushed by people in Milwaukee, the youth of Milwaukee, they knocked the hinges off the door. At that point in time, I said, I'm a fan for life. All right, so
That's
listen.
awesome. I think that the producers, like Dilla and Timberland, and we got to have a whole nother call,
Another show. Yeah.
show for them. Yeah,
DJ
exactly.
Premier.
Yeah, even
You
Kanye.
got tons of
Kanye's a producer. He started out as a producer, right? Kanye.
Yeah, my friend
Yeah,
Kaya,
and
Sky Sandifer, who did the first
yeah.
I'll Make Me Funny logo, he did graphics for Kanye.
Yeah.
There's a funny story. I'll tell it maybe some other time. There's a funny story. I actually was supposed to drive a van down to Freaknik for a guy named Oliver Gibson. He had a record label called Bay Boy Records or something like that, and they were trying to strong arm Kanye West to signing with him.
Oh
And
wow. Well,
Yeah, yeah. So Oliver played for the Cincinnati Bengals. It never happened, but
hmm.
just a fun story. But look,
Yeah, yeah.
everybody, we are way over our time, and I have to work tonight. God bless you. We appreciate you guys coming out. Let's go ahead and get to our sponsors and let these people out. And please forgive me. I know we are well over our 30-minute time limit, but you know what? We're enjoying ourselves. I hope you don't mind. You know why? I hope you don't mind because I enjoyed myself. I hope you enjoyed yourself as well. You know, we got to loosen up a little bit, man. Yeah, we got Omicron, we got Delta, we got all these things. Listen, you know what? When you listen to the music, I'm gonna tell you something. You listen to music back in the day, you didn't hear any of that. It's about having a good time,
Hmm.
surviving. It's about trying to be out there, be somebody, have hope. So you know what? Alhamdulillah for that. So listen, check out www.befinanciallyindependent.com. Again, that's www.befinanciallyindependent.com. If you don't want to go to the website, call 1-888-496-6845. Again, that's 1-888-496-6845. And if you're thinking about getting a quality Islamic education at the graduate level, you got to check out Bayan Islamic Graduate School. Again, that's Bayan Islamic Graduate School with programs in Islamic education, master's degrees in Islamic studies, Islamic leadership. And I say it every time, you know, they have one of the premier programs for Muslim chaplaincy. Got to check it out. Go to banonline.org. Again, that's banonline.org. And last but not least, we'll give a shout out to Convenience Urgent Care in the city of Houston with 3 locations: Cypress, Pasadena, and Houston on Parker Road. So if you feel like you're getting the COVID bug, call Convenient Urgent Care. They have free COVID testing. All right. Don't get the COVID.
Don't get the COVID. I want to
Don't
give
get
a shout out to one more other to Muslim Journal. So the Muslim Journal, yeah, Muslim Journal. So Muslim Journal is actually having their annual A Time to Be Grateful weekend, and it is actually virtual. Of course, they had to pivot from being live. The Atlanta Masjid of Al Islam is actually hosting it. So go to www.muslimjournal.net. Muslim Journal, of course, is a 46-year-old paper, and you gotta take a look at it. So again, go to www.muslimjournal.net.
Gotta support black journalism. That's what it is.
Absolutely.
Black Muslim journalism. Gotta support it. So,
Absolutely.
big ups to Sister Aisha. You know we love you. And big ups to the Muslim Journal. Faithfully and consistently informing our community. Thank you so much. Everybody, that's our show. Sister Tana, go ahead and take us out of here. Assalamu
Okay.
alaikum wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Well, team, we've come to the end of yet another show. And I have to say, I had a good time, and I hope that you had a good time as well. Listen, at this part of the show, we have no more show. I could literally sing a song saying we have no more show. However, to spare all of us that embarrassment and chaos, I'm just going to say, please join us tomorrow here on the Shout Out Show, Monday through Thursdays, and every first Saturday, we do our Saturday Spotlight. Here we are again, 5 to 5:30 on the Central Time. And of course, we're going to do our rebroadcasts at 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock p.m. And of course, that would be 6 o'clock on the West Coast. So, time for you to go because it's time for me to go. I think I will do that song. Thank you for coming to the show. Thank you for coming to the show. That's all the lyrics I wrote. But you get the idea. See you tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum. Shout out show.